The truth is very simple. Life is not perfect. And there is this saying, it might be a bit cheesy, but that life is perfectly imperfect. But here's the truth. Life, it is perfectly imperfect because life is unpredictable. Life is a mystery. Life is unexplainable. And our job as soul beings having a human experience, it is not to control life or push our way to get what we want. It is not, our job, it is not to understand even life. It is not to struggle with what we should be. Our life, our job as soul beings having a human experience, it is not to become a victim and a prisoner of our own limitations. Our job is not to judge and punish ourselves when things don't go our way. That's not our job. Our job as soul beings having a human experience is to consciously choose what we are aligning with and then let go. Our job is to be in the moment. Show up in life in the moment, in the flow of this moment. Our job is to allow for the ebbs and flows of life and the cycles of nature to run through us. And honoring these cycles and all the beings, respecting it. And more, our job is to love ourselves, respect ourselves, be kind to ourselves, forgive ourselves, because only then we can be all of that to others. You have to do all of that to yourself first. So then you can give. You can't give from an empty jug. You have to fill your cup first, so then you can overflow and give to others. Let me know if this is resonating with you. And with all of this, I'm not saying that, you won't struggle, that we don't struggle with faith when things get harder and really difficult. It will happen. It's life. Life is not perfect, remember? But it's in exactly those moments that it's important to have the awareness that we are leaning into fear rather than trust. In these moments that things are hard and we start trying to control everything, trying to do all of the things, trying to do what we think we are supposed to do and be what we think others expect of us, is having that awareness that in that moment we are leaning into fear and not leaning into trust. And when we have that awareness, we let go. Because letting go of things creates more space within us to surrender. And as I said last week, surrender is trust. Life is not perfect and is forever changing. Forever. So change is a natural process. Think about it. Birth, death, the flourish of the flowers, and the fading browning fall, the change of the seasons, the change of the moon cycles, the change of the tides. Nature shows us every time that life is full of change. It doesn't mean that that change is bad. Each season has its beauty. Each moon cycle has its power. It has its purpose. Nature has its purpose every time it changes. And even with all the beings, we know the certain thing we know about life is that everything that is born will die one day. We just don't know when. But that's the only certainty we have. That birth and death are a process. Aging is a process. And we change throughout, not only physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Deep down, we've always known that. And the sooner we accept these ebbs and flows of life, the easier it is to find balance in our lives, in our emotions, in our thoughts. The easier it is to find gratitude and love for everything that is surrounding us. So the sooner we accept that life is forever changing, changes are natural, they will happen, and that we cannot control these changes and cycles of nature. That's the important bit. We cannot control these changes in this process of life and the cycles of nature. We cannot stop it. We cannot make it different. The freer you will become from suffering, the suffering that you are causing yourself when you attach yourself to your desires and to the expectations of how life should look like. Because we are the only ones causing our own suffering. It's not life. Life just flows in its own process. It changes in its own accord. But in this yearning to control how life will look like, how the outcome is going to be, if we're going to get those things that we want, is in that control, that obsession, that leaning into fear, that we cause ourselves suffering. We cause ourselves anxiety, depression, overwhelm, frustration, because we are focusing on the fear rather than the trust, rather than aligning ourselves with our true essence. We are aligning ourselves to our desires and our expectations. And then we suffer because if things don't go our way, we think it's our fault. Something is wrong with us. It is not fair. When you understand that these cycles of life are not necessary to allow for growth, allow for transformation, and that it is cynical of us to only accept the part of the changes that we are comfortable with and that goes our way. As soon as we understand that, we become freer. We get a new awareness of our behaviors. Because aligning with life means understanding that we have no control over the cycles of life and nature. Your power doesn't come from resisting the changes and cycles because you don't like it, or because they don't go our way, because they don't match your expectations, because they are not giving you what you want. Your power is not in the resistance. Your power comes from the calm certainty that you can align with the life challenges and changes no matter what. No matter how life changes, how cyclical it becomes, how you think you are out of control because you cannot predict what's coming next. Your power comes from the certainty that no matter what those changes are, you can align with your life. You can be in your true essence. You can be who you are meant to be, not what you think you are supposed to be. Because you can change and transform and grow in flow with life. So you will be okay no matter what. Your power comes from this. This is trust. This is trust. And trust and claiming this power, it comes from the balance of having the intention of what you want and then releasing control, surrendering to trust. It's the same process as when you try to manifest something. You put the intention out there. You really want that, but it has to be something that you really want because it aligns with your essence. Because when you're trying to achieve something or align with something that is not really you, is what others have, do, achieve, live, and you think you should have the same, should do the same, that's not aligning with your true essence. It has to be what it feels good to you, what you really want, because it aligns with who you are. So having that intention of what you really want because it aligns with who you truly are, and then surrendering to trust and releasing the control of how that will work out. Just put the intention, trust, let go. Don't try to control it.